With a group of gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people who really are here because we love our church and we are part of our church. But I just feel such a contradiction between being marginalized and being told to minister to the marginalized.
Yeah!
Thank you, Ellen. One of the things I'd say straight up is, as you know, God does not make mistakes. And that one of my roles in the Bishops' Conference in Australia, one of my roles as chair of that commission, is to work with homosexual people and lesbian people. And I've said that the wrong way really, because it's to work with people who are lesbian or homosexual. One of the things I think, and it's one of the common criticisms and questions among young people, certainly in Australia, whenever you speak with young people, it's one of the questions. We don't have time, I wish we did, but I meet with the senior students from my high schools twice a term. One meeting is my agenda. I can say what I like, ask what I like, talk about what I like, and the next is their agenda, so they can talk about whatever they like. And recently, the head girl said to me, she said, well, I'll kick it off. She said, I'm a Catholic, I'm heterosexual, I go to Mass every Sunday, but tell me, why do we sing Come As You Are, and then we hate homosexuals? That was what she said. And so we began our conversation. And we began to work out that we don't hate anybody. And then we don't hate homosexual people or any people. And the fact we love those people. The conversation went around, well, doesn't the gospel say you've got to love one another? Yes. Well, these people love one another. Why don't you get out of their road, leave them alone, and just let them love one another? So there was quite a conversation, and we left it at that point. And so the next meeting was my attendance, so we started there. And I said to them, so your principle of life is this: if we really love one another, whatever happens is okay. They said, yes, that's what we believe. And I said, okay. I said to this girl, who's a very good friend of mine, and she's a beautiful kid, I said, well, when you go home tonight, your mum's going to take you aside and say, I'm glad you're home early, but there's been something I want to tell you. For the last 4 or 5 years, I haven't really loved your dad. But I've met this beautiful man at work, and he's just gorgeous. And I'm so madly in love with him, I can't tell you. In fact, I think it might be the first time I've really been in love with him. It's so magical. So, I'm going to leave you and Dad and your brothers and go and live with this man on Monday. Are you okay with that? And immediately, of course, he said, no, hang on, whoa. I said, no, that's the principle of life we agreed on last meeting. If you really love somebody, it's fine. It's okay, it's good, it's what God wants. She loves this bloke and he loves her. He doesn't love your dad anymore. And so we began then really talking about what does love look like? What is love really? And one little girl who hadn't said much said, I think it's got to be a bit sacrificial, which was an odd word for it. If I said it, I think people would have yawned. But when she said it, they said, oh, what do you mean? And then one big hairy bloke said, oh, a bit like Jesus on the cross. So we'd gone from this kind of very anti-Catholic stance to beginning to work out what does it mean to love. And I would want to say to you, I've forgotten your name. Ellen. Excuse me for that. But Ellen, I'd want to say to you, you've got an enormous contribution to make for the church as we understand the phenomenon of homosexuality and sexuality in general. You have got an enormous contribution to make. And certainly where I am in Australia, we want to listen very carefully. And I know the debate about whether it's nature or nurture, I understand all of that. But in recent times I talked with a young man who said to me, and I was asking him questions because I need to know. He said, I crawl around in a man's toilet, having sex with men I've never met. Do you think I'd choose that? He said, I would love to be heterosexual. But I'm not. So where does the church nurture me? And in many ways, Ellen, it's a question in my mind. I have some ideas, but I wouldn't want to share them here without talking to you personally, because they can sound patronising. I don't want to do that. But what I do want to say to you is that I thank you for your question, and I would urge you, if you would, to talk compassionately and transparently and urgently to the leadership of the church where you are, so that we might have a better understanding of God's plan and how the church, that's all of us, how we work together and find holiness in the reality of our sexuality. I'm not sure that answers your question.